Module 5, During the Work. Overview. Traditional renovations create airborne dust. Prohibited practices. Protect yourself and make a personal protective equipment toolkit. Control the spread of dust. Hands-on exercise. Skill set number 6. The RRP rule prohibits the use of certain practices. These prohibited practices are discussed in this module. Certain practices are prohibited by the RRP rule. Beyond this, you are free to use whatever practices get the job done, provided that all dust and debris you generate stays in the work area and does not migrate to other areas or properties. The recommendations in this section will assist you by reducing the amount of dust released during work. Dust reduction in the work area will make the workplace safer for employees and will make cleaning easier. Upon completion of this module, you will know what work practices are prohibited under the RRP rule because they create dangerous amounts of dust and paint chips, what practices to use to control dust, debris, and paint chips, and what tools you will need. Traditional renovations create airborne leaded dust. The data above are from the lead exposure associated with renovations and remodeling activities summary report prepared by Battelle for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, May 1997. Traditional work practices create large amounts of dust. This chart shows amounts of lead dust created by 3 common construction practices: hand sanding, power sanding, and interior demolition. Note, the RRP rule restricts the use of power sanders, among other things. See following page for more information. By using safe work practices, you can control and significantly reduce the amount of dust created on the job. Controlling leaded dust at the source of generation is important because dust released into the air will eventually become settled dust on the ground. Prohibited practices: open flame burning or torching, heat gun above 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, power sanding, power grinding, power planing, needle guns, abrasive blasting, sandblasting without a shroud, or containment system equipped with a HEPA vacuum. The EPA RRP rule does not specifically address what measures must be taken to reduce the amount of dust generated on the job. Rather, the rule lists 3 prohibited practices that must not be used on the job. Number 1, open flame burning or torching of painted surfaces. Number 2, heat gun above 1100 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 3, the use of machines designed to remove paint or other surface coatings through high-speed operation, such as sanding, grinding, power planing, needle gun, abrasive blasting, or sandblasting, unless such machines have shrouds or containment systems and are equipped with a HEPA vacuum attachment to collect dust and debris at the point of generation. Machines must be operated so that no visible dust release of air occurs outside the shroud or containment system. A key to minimizing the spread of dust and paint chips is not to use certain traditional work practices known to create large amounts of dust and debris. Open flame burning or torching, or using a heat gun over 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, create very fine leaded dust particles, fume, that are dangerous for workers to breathe. The small leaded dust particles created by burning or heating also settle in surrounding surfaces and are very hard to clean up. Power sanding, power grinding, planing, needle guns, abrasive blasting, and sandblasting create large amounts of dust that float in the air and then settle on surfaces inside and outside of the work area. Per HUD, the practices listed on the slide are also prohibited. on pre-1978 properties with lead-based paint that receive federal housing assistance. The HUD rule also prohibits extensive dry scraping or sanding by hand, paint stripping in a poorly ventilated space using volatile paint stripper. States and localities or tribes may also prohibit these practices. Specialized tools. Large jobs may require special consideration to get the job done, like power tools designed to remove paint or other coatings must have shroud or containment, a system equipped with HEPA vacuum. Pneumatic and battery operated tools to protect against shock hazards, specialized planning, and containment. Only power tools designed to remove paint or other surface coatings equipped with attached HEPA filtered local capture ventilation may be used when lead-based paint is present or presumed to be present. Electric power tools such as sanders, grinders, circular saws, reciprocating saws, planers, and drills produce dust and debris. Tools with attached HEPA filtered capture ventilation collect and filter dust and debris as it is created. A shroud at the head of the tool helps to contain the dust and paint chips as the vacuum draws away dust and debris for safe storage in the vacuum canister. Abrasive blasting is very effective at removing large areas of paint quickly, but these practices require special HEPA filtration equipment that contains a blast medium, dust, and paint chips without releasing dust into the air or into the containment. Containment is even more important when using specialized tools. Proper containment and cleaning is crucial even when using a HEPA filtered specialized tool. These tools generate a lot of dust inside the localized negative pressure vacuum environment. If the vacuum fails, or if the vacuum seal created by the shroud is broken, large volume of dust can be released. Nonetheless, HEPA filter specialized tools can reduce dust levels when used properly and can aid work production by shortening the cleaning time and lowering costs. Protect yourself. Workers should protect themselves. Painter's hat are an inexpensive way to keep dust and paint chips out of the worker's hair. Painter's hats can be easily disposed of and should be disposed of at the end of each day or at the end of the job. Disposable coveralls are a good way to keep dust off the workers' street clothes and reduce the chance of carrying dust away as they come and go. Remember to use HEPA vacuum to remove the dust and debris from the coveralls and from the outer, such as a dry con, before exiting the work area. Some coveralls have a hood to keep the dust out of the hair. Respiratory protection. All of workers should wear respiratory protection, such as a disposable N100, the R100, or P100 respirator, or follow OSHA's respiratory protection standard. You should wash your hands and face at the end of each shift or periodically before and after eating, drinking, or smoking, or leaving the work site. Personal protection is especially important on high dust generating jobs when lead-based paint or lead contaminated dust is disturbed and while cleaning is being performed. However, the same level of protection is not necessary during the planning, testing, or setup phases of the work when lead is not being disturbed. The protective equipment listed above is meant to show what is needed during activities that disturb lead-based paint and lead-contaminated dust. Depending upon work practices used, OSHA rules may require employees to take further steps to protect the health of workers on the job. OSHA provides additional information on working with lead in their safety and health regulations for lead in the construction industry. 29 CFR 1926.62. Control the spread of dust. Precautions to take when leaving the work site. When you leave the work site, the area covered by protective sheathing or the workroom, take precautions to prevent spreading dust and paint chips on your clothes or shoes to other parts of the residence. Every time you leave the plastic sheathing around the surfaces being renovated, remove the disposable shoe covers and wipe or vacuum your shoes before you step off the plastic sheathing. A large disposable tack pad on the floor can help to clean the soles of your shoes. Every time you leave containment, HEPA vacuum and remove your disposable coveralls and disposable shoe covers. Clean and or vacuum your shoes and wash your hands and face. At the end of the day, change your clothes and wash yourself to reduce the risk of contaminating your car and taking lead dust home to your family. Before leaving the work site, remove any protective clothing, HEPA vacuum dust from non-protective clothing, and thoroughly wash your hands and face. Throw away disposable clothing or place clothing in a plastic bag to stop dust from getting on other clothes at home. As soon as you arrive home, take a shower and be sure to thoroughly wash your hair, especially before playing with children. Wash your work clothes separately from regular household laundry to stop lead from getting on your other clothes. Be clean before you come in contact with family members, especially children. Remember the video about the contractor who lead poisoned his own kids. Cleaning during the job. Clean the work site frequently. As the job progresses, it will reduce the spread of dust and paint chips. Daily cleaning need not be as thorough as the final cleaning. It should, however, keep debris, dust, and paint chips from piling up and spreading beyond the immediate work site. Daily cleaning during the job includes removing debris frequently, seal and dispose of construction debris as it is created, vacuuming horizontal surfaces frequently, HEPA vacuum dust and paint chips that settle on surfaces including protective sheathing. As workers come and go during the workday, this debris is easily spread. Periodic cleaning throughout the workday helps minimize the spread of dust. Collect paint chips as they are created. When removing paint, paint chips can spread outside the immediate work area as workers come and go from the work site. To keep paint chips from spreading beyond the work site, make sure that they are collected as they are created. Periodically, HEPA vacuum and dispose of paint chips. Wrapping and disposing of removed components. When removing painted components such as windows, trim, and cabinets, wrap them in plastic sheathing and dispose of them in stages. This will prevent the spread of debris and keep residents, especially children, from coming into contact with lead dust created by the work. Safe waste disposal. All renovations waste from the work area must be contained prior to its removal, storage, and disposal to prevent releases of dust and debris. Chutes from removing waste from the work area must be covered. At the conclusion of the workday, collect waste, store it in containment in an enclosure or behind a barrier that prevents the release of and access to dust and debris. When transporting waste from the renovation work area, it must be contained to prevent the release of dust and debris. How often should the cleaning during the job take place? The goal is to keep the dust and debris under control, not to maintain a completely spotless site at all times. Every job is different, so clean when it makes sense to, without hindering progress. Remove large amounts of dust and paint chips and debris frequently and at least daily. Exercise. Personal protective equipment. This exercise gives you a chance to learn and practice the proper steps for putting on and taking off personal protective equipment, disposing of used equipment, and decontaminating yourself. Watch the instructor, dress a volunteer in personal protective equipment. Skill set number 6, protective equipment. Practice putting on and taking off the personal equipment and dispose of it properly. Now you know what work practices produce dust, what work practices are prohibited by EPA and HUD, how to work safely around lead-based paint and leaded dust, proper use of personal protective equipment. In the next module, we'll talk about how to conduct final cleaning in the work area and how to verify the cleaning is complete.